All right, good evening and welcome to the TJ Foulon Fieldhouse here at Central High School. We're about ready to get underway with the quarterfinals of the 59th Annual Central Christmas Tournament. Before tonight's game, actually during halftime of the game between Central and Hillsborough, I got a chance to talk with senior guard Mike Pinkley of the Knights. And now I'm joined with Mike Pinkley, one of the guards from the Farmington Knights. Got to see him in action the other night to start off this tournament against Perryville. And Mike, what did Coach really say to you guys coming away from that game?
Coming away from the game, he really told us that we ran the fast break really well and we press break really well, and we didn't have a lot of turnovers, which is good because we need to start cutting down on those. And we just had a lot of extra passes that led to baskets, and we played a good game, but we still had things we needed to work on.
Yeah, that was really what I took from the game as well. There's a few small things here and there that, you know, we can get away with some of those mistakes against a team like Perryville. But as we get further into this tournament against a team like West County or even Central that's playing right now and is currently leading here in the second period, you know, that's a team that we're probably looking at, of course not overlooking West County too much, but what has been the main focus going into this game against West County?
The main focus for me anyway was to try and work the ball into Ankrum and try and work it inside, because West County, they don't have a lot of height, and with Ankrum and Connor, we do have all that height. So I'm trying to work the ball inside, at least at first, to establish Ankrum and Connor.
Yeah, I was speaking with Matt King from the Daily Journal earlier, and he kind of reiterated that same thing, is that, you know, it's hard to match up against a guy like Ankrum. You're not really going to see that until maybe Central. Colin Best does a pretty good job in the post. Of course, he could be going Division I in football, and then especially later on up against Potosi with Coleman, and the two of them are kind of pulling back and forth as far as the overall scoring leader for the tournament so far. So what would you say the keys to the game are for Farmington against West County tonight?
We can't have a lot of turnovers today. They do run a full court man and probably run man the whole time, so they have some quick guards, so we need to make crisp passes and just work the ball inside, and as soon as they start collapsing on Ankrum, just kick it out and hit our shots.
So do you expect them to play full court press the entire game?
Until we start breaking it or they start getting tired.
Yeah, and that was one thing that I did notice against Perryville. We had some trouble at times with that full court press, and you were talking about, you know, we didn't have a ton of turnovers, but I do know quite a few of those came from that full court press and not finding a way to break it. Eventually we're able to work around it, but is there anything that you guys have kind of worked on now since we had a day in between games here that you guys were able to work on a little bit and making sure that you're able to break that press a little bit easier against a guard-heavy team like West County?
Well, we didn't really have a practice yesterday, but he sent out film to all of us, so we all watched the film and put notes on there on what we could do better. A lot of it was getting trapped down in the corners or catching the ball too low, so we were trying to work on some plays, catch the ball higher, and then just clear out and let Waddell or me or England take the ball up forward.
And you're talking about Waddell there. I know that, you know, of course, our first home game, we were without Waddell. I heard that, I hear correctly, that you might have twisted your ankle at one point here recently or anything.
Yeah.
So I know that there are a few injury things that have kind of popped up. Is there anything that we really need to look out for going into this game this evening, though?
Injury-wise, I think everybody's perfectly healthy now, but Grant's had that lingering hip issue, and Pfister's also had some ankle problems this year, but I think we'll be just fine injury-wise.
That sounds good. So once again, this has been Mike Pinkley, one of the guards for Farmington. You'll see him out here on the court in just a second. Once again, we're here at the 59th Annual Bob Seekers Jr. Christmas Tournament here at the Central Fieldhouse. We'll be right back here on Night Vision Media.
With everything always improving, why is our banking falling behind? With monthly service fees and ATMs that take your money right back. Introducing Kasasa. Free hard-working accounts. You'll earn when you bank and earn when you swipe. And get those ATM fees back in your pocket. Free checking with rewards. Carried locally at Belgrade State Bank. Do you, Kasasa?
America loves a fish fry. And in the Corktown part of Detroit, there's a place called Nancy Whiskey's that's famous for one. Nothing fancy, just a tasty good time. But you don't have to go to Nancy's for fish that taste that special. Just come on over to Long John Silver's. Rediscover the taste you love. Long John Silver's, we're America's fish fry.
And once again, welcome to the TJ Foulon Fieldhouse. I'm Aaron Murray alongside with Sarah LaChance tonight, bringing you tonight's quarterfinal action between the Farmington Knights and West County Bulldogs. West County being able to carve their way through Viburnum pretty easily, 86-33. They were led by their power forward, Brinkley, who will be one of the 5 starters for the Bulldogs. The starters for the Knights this evening will be number 2, Connor Gage, number 10, Mike Hinckley, number 22, Grant Waddell, 25, Jordan Ankrum, and 34, Jordan Pfister. So just the one of those not being a senior, and that's the point guard, number 22, Grant Waddell. For the West County Bulldogs, starters number 4, Clayton LeBrier, number 21, Jacob Miner-Sagan, number 22, Josh Barnett, 24, Parker Forshee, and 45, Clayton Brinkley. And as I said, Brinkley led the other night against Viburnum. He was followed by Miner-Sagan, 16 points and 8 rebounds, Forshee 16 points, and LeBrier with 14. So very even scoring, but that Viburnum team will be nothing like these Knights this evening for the Bulldogs. Bulldogs coming in to the tournament with the 3 seed. Some people wondering if they might be overseeded, but when you face some of the teams that they do early in the season versus a team like Farmington, who starts out the year in one of the harder tournaments to start out the year with, it's the kind of thing that it's hard to judge exactly what those records really mean. Farmington nearly with an early turnover there. Instead, it's swatted out of bounds. Gets a pass into Hinckley, back out to Waddell. Over to Pfister for the 3-point opportunity. It's no good, and it will be an over-the-back call on number 2, Connor Gage. Gage with quite a bit more height than most players here in the area, and he's been able to use that to his advantage so far this season. West County bringing the ball down the court, gets the bucket in. And that was 24, Parker Forshee, getting the and one. That was called on Jordan Pfister of the Knights. That'll be his first. And now already the team's second foul here with just 25 seconds off the clock. And Forshee's able to follow that with a successful free throw. As you saw in the pregame interview, we talked about that full court press by the West County Bulldogs, and it's already causing Farmington some trouble here early on. Going around. West County Bulldogs did a pretty good job the other night against Viburnum and finding the open looks. Like I said, it's a very different team with Viburnum. And Ankrum, a beast the other night. He finished the game with 32 points and 18 boards. Already has the rebound right there. Sarah, what is it that some of the players have talked about so far this season?
Well, so I got the chance to talk to junior Grant Waddell and senior Aaron Hargis, and they both said that Coach Callahan really stresses turnovers. Not so much against Saturday against Perryville. They didn't really have as much, but up in the Vianney tournament, Callahan really stressed turnovers with them because that is really what killed the team. So, I mean, we haven't really seen that much in this tournament so far, but there's only been 1 game, and there was some turnovers, but not as much as we're used to seeing already this season. So.
Yeah, the thing that I really took away from that Perryville game when watching that is that we got away with several mistakes that against a team like West County so far, that's probably not going to be quite the same tale. Already with 3 turnovers, an open opportunity for Grant Waddell. He goes all the way down and ends up just barely missing the open layup. And there was a slap to the backboard, so a couple people around me here are mentioning the possible goaltend. And I don't know if he gave enough of a shake to the goal or not to be able to call that sort of thing, but it's the kind of thing that typically when you hit the backboard like that you're going to get that call. The Knights once again trying to break the full court press of the Bulldogs. Grant Waddell with the ball, brings it out on top of the key, gets it over to Scales. Scales made a few mental mistakes the other night, and once again making another mistake there. Not sure if it was Waddell making the mistake or Scales, but either way, someone wasn't on the same page at that moment. Inside to Gage, back out to Waddell for 3. No good, bounced off, tipped out by Hargis. Another 3-point opportunity, and he cashes it in.
You know, we're not used to seeing it from the Knights, but some nasty passes that just aren't working out. We're not used to seeing that at all, but there's already been 3 so far this game, and we're only not even halfway through the first quarter.
Well, despite all of the mistakes that the Knights have made here early on, they still at least have tie score on the scoreboard. Just over 2 minutes off the clock so far.
You know, Grant Waddell, the only one on the board for the Knights today, he has been a huge asset as a junior to the Knights. I mean, last year it was just seniors playing, and he even came up for the Final Four games, but this season he's been extraordinary with how he's playing in general. I mean, he's been playing guard, and he's been a really great asset to the Knights.
Well, that was a big thing at the end of last year. We started talking about, okay, what players are we going to have back for next year that can fill in some of these voids being left by the seniors? And Grant was definitely a part of that conversation. Towards the end of the year, not only was he brought up, but you look to the Cape Notre Dame JV game, and Waddell was the one to hit the shot at the buzzer to give the JV Knights the win that night. So there were several big positive moments for Waddell at the JV level last year. So we just hope that you could see some of the things, same things at the varsity level. Ankrum was wide open there for a second. Unfortunately, none of the Knights saw him, and instead it turns into another turnover. And Waddell taking a little bit of a hit that time, and talked about it with Mike Pinkley, a few injuries here and there, and Waddell's been dealing with a few issues with his hip. So we hope that there's nothing that just now happened that can kind of be putting stress on that hip a little bit more. Yep. There with their 5th turnover already.
And that's another thing. Like you said, Grant came up from JV, a great asset to JV, and now he's a great asset to the varsity team. But there's not any seniors except for Jordan Ankrum who saw a lot of time last year, and it's surprising how well that the seniors this year are adjusting from not seeing any playing time hardly at all last year to doing as well as they are this year. I mean, it's great to see.
That was Clayton LeBrier just a second ago making the 3-point shot for the Bulldogs. And it looks like that's another foul on Connor Gage. So that'll be his 2nd foul here early on. And he'll come out of the game, and in to relieve him will be number 24, John Bader, the 6'4" junior. And that's one thing that we're used to seeing from number 4, Clayton LeBrier. Plenty of threes. He'll take those shots all game long. Not going to shoot a crazy high percentage, but he is going to shoot plenty of them, and he's going to get a few of them to fall just like he did a second ago. Knights nearly with the trap opportunity there. It'll be LeBrier with the ball, and he gets it over to Forshe. Back to LeBrier, another 3-point opportunity, and he cashes it in once again. So already with 2 early threes to go up 9-3 here with almost 4 minutes off the clock in the first quarter.
I don't know a whole lot about West County's team, but from what I can gather just so far in this game, they are great at taking shot opportunities, and that's something that maybe the Knights are lacking a little bit, is taking those opportunities.
Well, the great opportunity there by Ankrum. He gets the wide open look underneath. Move the Knights to 2 points now on the board. And it is out of bounds on the Bulldogs, so the Knights with an opportunity to turn this into a single possession game. Pfister out to inbound the ball for the Knights, gets it into Ankrum. Ankrum guarded closely by Brinkley, and Brinkley not being able to handle him inside, but Ankrum misses the shot, spun around the rim and back out. Forshe taking it all the way down, no good, rebounded once again by Ankrum. Ankrum with a wide open 3 look, it's no good off the front of the rim, and Brinkley gets the rebound for the Bulldogs. Nice layup high off the glass. That was number 21, Minor Sagan. Did a great job for the Bulldogs against by Burnham. The Knights with the 3-on-2 opportunity. Pfister with an open look in front. He gets it to fall. Bulldogs coming back down on the other end, and they travel by number 45. And they have it down as Clayton Brinkley, but that's not Clayton Brinkley. Trying to see the name from here. That might be number 42, Stephen Barlow. Pinkley with the ball for the Knights. Brings it over the far side. A couple of guys were trailing him. Pinkley still able to defend the dribble. Knights trying to work the perimeter and find the open shot. Tries to get it inside to Bader. And instead it'll be, I believe it's I was thinking that it might have been a foul call. Instead, I guess it rolled out of bounds on West County. Pfister trying to inbound it off the back of the West County Bulldogs. Saw one of those plays last year by Logan England, and that came in the Central game. That ball tipped out. Pfister gets it back. He's at half court. Finds a way to be able to bring it back in, though. Young set of Knights out on the floor. We've got a couple of seniors in Pinkley and Pfister. The rest are juniors. Waddell with the three-point look again, no good. And the rebound goes out to West County, a 3-on-3. He brings it straight down, it's no good. And West County so far not being able to score in transition very well. The Knights with the transition look, and Pfister gets it to fall. Great job by the senior, number 34, Jordan Pfister, getting his third and fourth points of the night. He'll go to the line trying to get his fifth. 1:55 on the clock. The Knights now just 2 points behind the Bulldogs, 11-9. Knights doing a much better job in transition than what West County has so far, and that's kind of what I talked about earlier. The guards might be pretty good for West County, but I feel like the athleticism of the Farmington Knights overall is what is going to kind of outmatch the Bulldogs. See it right there, and a travel call once again. And once again, I'll reiterate the athleticism. When you look at players number 40 and number 45, they're nowhere near the caliber of athletes that you're going to see from a John Bader or Jordan Ankrum. Very different set of players in comparison for the two teams. Knights with an opportunity here to tie it up, gets it down to Ankrum. Ankrum over to Pfister. Pfister gets it across. Pinkley with an open look and ends up overshooting the rim by just a bit. Pinkley hit a few threes the other night, including a deep one. And West County with another turnover, another travel. And once again, it's that transition game that West County's really having a lot of difficulty with so far here in the first quarter.
You know, you mentioned Mike Pinkley doing so well with the threes the other day. He is one of those seniors who has stepped up to such a caliber. I mean, he has really had to step up, you know, taking over that role as a guard, not having much playing time at all last year. So that's a really good, I mean, he's just an outstanding player in general, and he really stepped up.
Well, there's a lot of people that if you talk to anyone that's watched the team so far, my wife included, she doesn't know a whole lot about basketball, but the one thing that she said coming from that game against Cape Central is she was really impressed with Mike's play against Cape Central. And Cape Central is going to be one of the better teams that we will face all season. Farmington having trouble pulling the rebound down after a clank off the glass by the Bulldogs. So the Bulldogs will be set to inbound with 49.5 seconds left. Brinkley gets a wide open look, and Ankrum ends up committing the foul. It's Ankrum's first foul. It's the 14th foul already. Both teams have 14 fouls apiece. Brinkley will have a chance at the line. And the first one does not fall. It's the second one to fall, and that'll give the West County Bulldogs a 3-point lead now. England trying to bring it down. It's swatted out of bounds by number 21, Minor Sagan. One thing that I definitely noticed the other night is when Alex England gets the ball, he's not going to dribble it too much. He's not going to shoot the ball. A nice behind the back move there. Shades of his older brother. Gets it out to Pfister. Pfister with another three-point opportunity. No good once again. Knights not being real successful from three-point territory so far. Forshee trying to answer back. Instead, flanks off the front of the rim. Same kind of thing that we saw from Pfister. England brings it around. There'll be a quick foul on Forshee as he can scream it across the court towards England. It's already Forshee's second, so that will be something to watch as we go forward. Coming in for him will be number 5, the senior Devin Culkin. And now we're going to see Brendan Hardy get his first varsity time with about 15 seconds left on the clock. And Hardy did a great job the other night in the JV game against Cape Central, so it'd be interesting to see what he could do at the varsity level. I'll admit I'm a bit surprised to see him already at this point. Didn't even get to really see him a whole lot the other night against Perryville, a team that we had a pretty sizable lead on. Ankrum gets the foul, and he'll go to the line for 2, misses the first. And neither team shooting great from the line so far. Just a tick over 6 seconds. Knights trying to close this to a 2-point difference, and Ankrum does with that second free throw. Ball's passed down court, a 3-point look. It comes off the front of the rim, no good, and that will end the first period. Knights only down by 2, 12-10. We'll be right back here in just a second on Night Vision Media.
Big wave.
That is everywhere, isn't it?
Okay,
Hey, Jennifer, can you guys turn to each other and share?
do you want to go get a Happy Meal?
This time it better not be a joke.
Who's excited about a Happy Meal?
And welcome back to the TJ Foulon Fieldhouse. Knights once again only down by a couple. Pretty good first quarter of play between the two teams. Never know what to expect coming into some of these games at the Central Christmas Tournament, and Farmington nearly turning it over there and trying to figure out what the call is. And the referees aren't even sure exactly what the call is. I'm wondering if West County might have stepped out of bounds as they tried to get it back in. But it will be white ball, so kind of an unfair advantage there for just a second as Farmington scrambles trying to set up their defense after not knowing exactly what the call was by the officials. Knights trying to create some chaos, a wide open shot opportunity down low is not taken advantage of, and it ends up getting tipped in. That was number 22, Barnett, being able to get that shot to fall. Hinckley across to Hardy. Hardy with a 3-point look, ends up coming off the back of the rim, no good. And that was something that Matt King of the Daily Journal, the two of us were talking about how Hardy could be kind of like what Bridges was for Central a couple of years ago. Bridges came in at the end of the year. He was a freshman that could shoot really well. And Hardy's kind of that same type of player. He can handle the ball decently. He can shoot the three. So it'll be interesting to see exactly what he's able to do as we carry on through the tournament. Definitely surprised to see him this early on in a game against West County. A game that's here in the quarterfinals. Like I said, we didn't see him in that opening round matchup, a game that Farmington won by the score 77-50. Didn't see Hardy come into the game at all during that one. Saw several other players come in at the very tail end. Hardy was one that didn't see any court time during that game.
I'm almost a little surprised that Callahan decided to give him his show against West County. I mean, they're seated a little higher, and I mean, I didn't think it was going to even be this close at this point, but.
And Forshee finding a way to get another 2 to fall in as another turnover is committed by the Knights. Mike Pinkley bringing the ball down, throws it over to Ankrum. Ankrum gets it back out to England. And Hardy ends up taking a stutter step with it and travels with the ball. It'll be another turnover by the Knights. The Knights making several just mental lapses here in the first half so far. Forshee trying to come down. Lucky that Bader did not get the block call, and West County brings it up and under, and that's number 22, Barnett, again with the shot. The Knights now trailing by 8. Saw the same kind of thing happen in the first quarter. The Knights were able to dig their way out of the hole. Found a way to climb back into it. Ankrum trying to own the post and does just fine with it. There's no question that Ankrum is one of the more talented post players. The only one that you could challenge that with would be Coleman from Potosi. Pinkley with the ball, brings it across, gets it over to Hardy. Hardy looks back out to Pinkley. Pinkley tries to dribble around, gets it back out to Hardy. Hardy's still being able to hold his own for the most part. He's made a couple of mistakes, but nothing too major so far. 6-point difference. Knights with a chance here to really be able to pull it back, and they go to Ankrum. Ankrum with a shot. It comes off the rim, ends up being tipped around, but West County finally ends up with the ball, gets it down to Brinkley. Brinkley with an open shot. It's no good. And that's not a shot that you expect to see from Brinkley very often. Brinkley is someone that works the post a little bit more. And that pass by Hardy back behind Ankrum. So as we talked about some of those mistakes that we're seeing from the young freshman, another one right there in an open look down the lane by number 21, Minor Sagan.
The Knights are just making some small little mistakes that are just really adding up for West County, and I'm kind of surprised because of how well, I mean, they did make mistakes against Perryville Saturday, but of how well they played compared to how they're playing now. I mean, it's just a little bit, taking a little bit more risky passes.
Brinkley with a fadeaway look, no good. Rebounded by Hardy. Ankrum doing a great job on both sides of the floor. He's really the one night that you can't say a whole lot of negative things about. There's been a couple of times where he's leaked out on a couple of his shots rather than going in, but that seems to kind of be his approach when taking the shots. Now one stripped away as the pass goes into Bader, and England comes down the court trying to get in the way of the shot, and instead it will be number 24, Forshee, with the basket, and he'll go to the line for one more. Forshee already with 7 points in the game so far. The Knights put their starters back out on the court, minus Mike Pinkley. Instead it'll be 23, Aaron Hargis. Hargis was actually the second leading scorer in the game the other night against Perryville. Forshee cashes in with the free throw, and he's already got 8 points in this game after scoring a total of 16 in the game against Viburnum. Waddell trying to bring the ball down the court, gets it over to Pfister. Pfister over to Ankrum. Ankrum tries to get it down low to Hargis. Hargis wide open in the corner that entire time, and none of the Knights really being able to find him. Now open in the corner, it goes out to Hargis. Hargis in the corner to Pfister. Pfister inside to Gage. Gage tries to bring it in, gets it out to Waddell for three. It's good. Waddell's second three-point shot closes the deficit to 6 points. Waddell nearly with the steal, and it will be a jump ball call. How in the world do they give the timeout at that point when both hands are on the ball okay. Anyway, so 4:01 on the clock, 23-17 the score. And the Knights still trying to find a way to claw back in this one. And once again, we're seeing kind of the same thing that we did during the first quarter.
I don't know. I'm kind of surprised at how sloppy the Knights are playing. I mean, it's almost like they came into this game the way they should have came into the Perryville game. I mean, it's a whole different level of how they were playing against Perryville. They were struggling in the first quarter against Perryville, but then they came on top so quickly, and it's just, you're not seeing that intensity from the Knights and that focus. I don't know. It's almost like they lost their finesse during this game.
Well, as we kind of talked about during the break between quarters, one thing that we've seen from Callahan already is that we're starting a few players that didn't get quite as much court time during that game against Perryville. So it might be a little bit of a strategic attempt by Callahan here to get his starters some rest and bring him back in and try to claw back into this game. But already with another three-point shot, that's 3 already by LeBrier. Waddell with the ball, gets it over to Pfister. Pfister back to Waddell. Ankrum goes down in the post, gets it to fall. Ankrum already being a monster in this game. He's got 9 points. He'll go to the line with the chance to make it 10. That's the 17th foul by West County, so any fouls from here on out will send the Knights to the line. Ankram's 1 of 2 from the line, make it 2 of 3, cashing in with that opportunity. Knights overall from the line are 2 for 4. Shooting at 50% right now. Hopefully the Knights will get a few more opportunities to bring that percentage up as the game goes further.
These deficits that the Knights are seeing aren't anything that they can't come back from, but it's just kind of surprising that it's come this way. I mean, there has been some interesting combinations of players on the court that we haven't seen, before this season, but also there's a whole different roster of players this season in general. So, it's nice to see Callahan trying some different combinations to see what he has on his team.
West County is able to get 2 rebounds on that one. Absolutely inexcusable by the Knights down low. They should own the post all night long, but they allowed 2 offensive rebounds on that turn, and it will send number 40, Austin Bradley, to the line for the Bulldogs. Bradley cashes in with the first. Hargis will come out of the game. Number 20, Tyler Scales, coming in for the Knights. And Bradley's second shot is up off the back of the rim, and West County again with another board. Knights closing in on LeBrier, trying to make sure that he doesn't get another open look from 3. LeBrier switches corners, and instead it'll be over on the other side of the court. It was number 21, Minor Sagan, with the open look from 3 that time. Pfister gets it out to Ankrum. Ankrum pulls up for 3. He cashes it in. Jordan Ankrum taking over the game for the Knights. And before the game, in the hallways, actually, a couple of the West County players were talking to a guy here that's actually a Park Hills Central Rebels fan, but of course, most of the Central Rebels rooting for most of the smaller schools, and most of the schools here locally do that exact same thing when going against the Knights. And that's already 3 fouls by the Knights' leading man, number 25, Jordan Ankrum.
When you talk about a great player, Jordan Ankrum is the definition of that. Having 32 points Saturday against Perryville alone, that's insane. He's just a great leader. He was one of the players who led them to the Final Four last year. He's been with the varsity team since his freshman year and has been a huge asset. He's just really the team leader this year, really what's picking them up and taking them where they're going.
There's no question that 3 fouls on him will be something that will cost the Knights. Have to be a lot more careful in the second half. Pfister gets it down to Gage. Gage tries to put it up. It's swatted away, and the Bulldogs end up with the rebound. That's something that we talked about several times before the season started, is that Connor Gage was going to have to be strong in the post, and right there went up with a very weak approach. 27-23 the score. And Farmington's definitely lucky in this one against a team like the Central Rebels. They would have no chance at being able to stay this close while making the mistakes that they have. Across the Scales. Scales looking in. Instead, he'll go back out to Pfister. Pfister with an open look from 3. He cashes it in. So the Knights, despite all of these mistakes that they've made, they're still only 1 point out of this game. And Pfister making sure that he's got no opportunity to put that one in. He got all ball, but definitely got him with the body quite a bit. So it'll be his first foul, the 8th team foul. And it'll send number 21, Jacob Minersagan, to the line. Minersagan already with 5 points. Looking to cash in with a couple more here. West County swapping a couple of players out, making sure that they keep their post players back on the other side of the court for defensive purposes. And that one tips around, and once again, the Knights are not finding a way to own the post and get the ball over to LeBrier, and he'll make another 3. And that time, a foul call. And it's got to be the appropriate call when you see a player turn around and try to go with the dribble. 22 is definitely in the way on that one. There's no question about that. So it'll send Pfister to the line with a 1-and-1 opportunity. Pfister only shooting 1 free throw so far, and he missed the one that he shot. That one's up and in, though. And Pfister with a chance to close it back to a 1-possession game. It's 27-31 now. Pfister's second shot up. Bounces around the rim and in. 1 minute on the clock. The Knights will look for a way to tie this up, and Scales with the clear steal that time. There's no question about it. He got the ball. He didn't get any hand, didn't get any arm. Absolutely terrible call that time around, and I don't care which camera here in the gym had the shot. That call right there was wrong. And it'll send number 5, Culkin, to the line. It's his first trip. It flanks around and out. I'll definitely say that if you look at the roster and the guys that have been on the court, Culkin's definitely the one that I would want at the line after a call like that. Culkin's second is up. He gets that one to fall, and he'll put his name into the book with that shot. Pfister with the ball. Tries to bring it down. Throws it down to Bader. Bader gets it across to Tamur. Tamur back out to Scales. Scales for 3. It's no good. Planks off the right side of the backboard. An awful looking shot by number 20, Tyler Scales. LeBrier for 3 again. He'll get it to fall. 5 threes by LeBrier of West County. Seven-point difference now. Knights hoping to find a way to close it instead. West County widens the gap between the two teams at 26.8 seconds on the clock. And Bader will be going to the line. He'll be shooting a 1-and-1. This will be the first time for Bader to have an opportunity to get into the books. He makes the first. 26.8 seconds once again here in the second quarter. Knights 6 points and now make it 5. Bader making both of those. Good job from the line by him. Knights doing a good job from the line so far. Gets the ball back over to LeBrier. West County finds a way to break the press and also put the points on the board. The Knights unquestionably will have to find a way to step it up defensively during the second half. Pfister will go to the line for 2. So far, he's 2 for 3 from the line. Pfister's first goes straight through the bottom. Second up and in as well. So at least the Knights are doing one thing right for sure, and that's shooting from the free throw line. The Knights have got to find a better way to hold the full court press And Scales once again losing his man, and it's going to cost the Knights. Ends up being tipped out by the Knights. But another open look opportunity. 1 second on the clock. The Knights will look to hold it to just a 5-point difference between the two teams. O'Brien running the length. He's got an open look from the corner. Nearly falls in for the Bulldogs. But instead, the Knights will have a 5-point deficit going into the second half. We'll be right back here in just a couple of minutes on Night Vision Media.
With everything always improving, why is our banking falling behind? With monthly service fees and ATMs that take your money right back. Introducing Kasasa. Free hard-working accounts. You'll earn when you bank and earn when you swipe. And get those ATM fees back in your pocket. Free checking with rewards. Carried locally at Belgrade State Bank. Do you, Kasasa?
America loves a fish fry. And in the Corktown part of Detroit, there's a place called Nancy Whiskey's that's famous for one. Nothing fancy, just a tasty good time. But you don't have to go to Nancy's for fish that taste that special. Just come on over to Long John Silver's. Rediscover the taste you love. Long John Silver's, we're America's fish fry.
Oh, big wave.
That is everywhere, isn't it?
Okay.
Can you guys turn to each other and share?
Do you want to go get a Happy Meal?
This time it better not be a joke.
Who's excited about a Happy Meal?
Divorce has many fears. Losing a child doesn't have to be one of them.
Hi, I'm Jim Willis. I've been practicing law in the Farmington area since 1986. Divorce is a very difficult time. You don't have to go through it alone. Please give me the opportunity to help you.
Special sauce?
At an undisclosed McDonald's location, there is a club. Inside, the best of the best gather. And tonight, they welcome their newest member, Mr. LeBron James. And what does one serve the best basketball player in the world? The new Bacon Clubhouse sandwich, of course. 100% pure beef or chicken on a new artisan roll, all with our famous Big Mac special sauce. Because everyone deserves the best. There's something for everyone to love at McDonald's.
You should serve it to everyone.
We're always looking for better ways to do things, but with some banks, better for them is
special sauce.
At an undisclosed McDonald's location, there is a club. Inside, the best of the best gather. And tonight, they welcome their newest member, Mr. LeBron James. And what does one serve the best basketball player in the world? The new Bacon Clubhouse sandwich, of course. 100% pure beef or chicken on a new artisan roll, all with our famous Big Mac special sauce. Because everyone deserves the best. There's something for everyone to love at McDonald's.
You should serve it to everyone.
And welcome back to the TJ Foulon Fieldhouse. We're here at halftime. The Knights down 37-32 against the West County Bulldogs. And you look across, no doubt that Ankrum has been the leader for the Knights, and it will definitely hurt us going into the second half with him with 3 fouls. He'll have to definitely take care of the defensive side of the court a little bit better than what he has in the post so far. Knights have missed some rebounding opportunities, and a lot of that's going to be because of Ankrum being out. He's got 8 rebounds so far in this one. Right now I'm joined with Matt King of the Daily Journal. If you're following on Twitter, @MattKing_sports, has been tweeting quite a bit about Dylan Coleman's approach towards 2,000 career points. He's at 1722 now after his big performance tonight against St. Genevieve. He had 35 points and 14 rebounds, according to Matt. And Matt, what have you seen so far here in the first half from the Knights that they're going to have to do differently?
Well, obviously they're looking to get Jordan Ankrum the ball, and I think at times they've tried to force it where the pass wasn't there. But I think, they started to get Fisker established shooting the ball. Waddell's hit a couple of threes for him, and I think a lot of the guard play has to maybe improve the decision making and maybe some patience. This game started off with a lot of press going both ways, and I thought, obviously the turnover totals piled up a little bit early on. I think both teams came out a little bit nervous, but I think they just have to settle down and stay composed and maybe look for better shots, even if it takes a little longer to make them develop.
And speaking of the turnovers, how many did you have for Farmington there in that first half?
I had nine for them, 7 for West County.
And I knew that the totals were getting pretty high. And how many did they have against Perryville the other night?
Oh, wow. Not too many.
I was wanting to say that you might have said 6.
Yeah, 6 or 7. That sounds about right. There weren't many. They played a good game.
And to have 9 in the first half speaks quite a bit about the difference that they're seeing between the Perryville team the other night and the West County team tonight.
Yeah, West County's coming out trying to put pressure on the guards in the backcourt so they can't get it to Ankrum. And, they just want to be as disruptive as possible. And I think both teams came out with that approach, and when they were attacking it, I think both were a little bit nervous, and I think it showed early on with the score didn't really pick up until later in the first quarter.
A lot of everyone around that's here tonight has been talking about how they really see Central as the team to beat in the tournament, despite the fact that they have the 2 seed in comparison to Potosi. What is it that you think kind of sets Central apart and puts them as a team that everyone sees as the team to beat?
Well, one thing is all of their guards are lethal shooters. If you leave any of them alone, they can bury you. They can burn you at the 3-point arc. They're deep. Central can go 10 guys deep and not really miss a beat on offense. And so if you get a guy in foul trouble, it's no big deal for them. And I think inside, Richardson's really come on well. He had a really good game tonight for them against Hillsborough. And then obviously Colin Best is a big kid in the middle. I think they've got a little more depth than they've had in the post in the past. And of course, like I said, their guards can absolutely shoot the lights out, and they play good defense.
And whichever team wins this one tonight will be playing Central tomorrow night. They beat Hillsborough earlier this evening, 61-46. Scott Richardson leading them 17-8. Colin Best with 10 points. So either one of these two teams are going to have to match up against them. And Matt, last thing that I'm going to get for you before I let you go for the second half is I want you to give me a couple of keys for West County to maintain their lead and a couple of keys for Farmington to climb back and find a way to win this one.
Well, West County obviously has to keep on attack. Their guards have to continue to be aggressive on the boards. They've gotten some big offensive rebounds. I think that's big for them, and of course to just continue to make it as tough as possible on Farmington to get the ball inside to Ankrum when he's out there, because obviously he's going to stir the drink for that team. Farmington, like I said, I think it's going to come down to patience, good shot selection, and the other thing is depth could be an issue in this game. West County's gone 7 deep, Farmington's gone 10 deep. Maybe Farmington can tire West County out in the fourth quarter, and I think that might give them an edge.
All right. Well, Matt, thanks for joining me. Once again, Matt King of the Daily Journal. If you're following on Twitter, once again, make sure to follow him at @MattKing_sports. He's always tweeting out about the Central Christmas Tournament along with other schools here in the area, including the Mineral Area Cardinals. So make sure to follow him to get all of your updates here in the local area. We'll be right back here in a couple minutes on Night Vision Media.
With everything always improving, why is our banking falling behind? With monthly service fees and ATMs that take your money right back. Introducing Kasasa. Free hard-working accounts. You'll earn when you bank and earn when you swipe. And get those ATM fees back in your pocket. Free checking with rewards. Carried locally at Belgrade State Bank. Do you Kasasa?
America loves a fish fry. And in the Corktown part of Detroit, there's a place called Nancy Whiskey's that's famous for one. Nothing fancy, just a tasty good time. But you don't have to go to Nancy's for fish that taste that special. just come on over to Long John Silver's. Rediscover the taste you love. Long John Silver's, we're America's fish fry.
Welcome back once again as we start the second half. And once again, I want to thank Matt King for joining us for just a second to talk about the game so far. That one thrown up, not too sure exactly where they were trying to go. Not a move that you see too often by the Bulldogs. Ankrum with an easy takeaway that time. And the Knights will definitely have to be a lot more careful with the ball during this half. 9 turnovers in the first. Knights bringing the ball around the perimeter. Connor Gage out on top of the key. Gets the ball over to Ankrum. Ankrum looking inside, kind of trying to work the post against Brinkley. Gets it over to Gage. Waddell was open in the corner, instead goes to Pfister. Pfister brings it in, gets it over to Ankrum. Ankrum spins around, tries to put it up. It's no good. Pfister with the rebound, spins around, tries to put it up himself. Gets a putback opportunity, and instead he'll go to the line. So Pfister with the chance to put the first points on the board here in the second half. That'll be Barnett's 3rd foul already. He's only got 4 points from West County, so not necessarily a key player on the books, but he's one of those guys that he is a starter. If you have to go to the bench, that's obviously a weakness once you start chipping in. So both teams with at least one guy in foul trouble. Unfortunately for the Knights, it's a key one in Ankrum. West County bring the ball around. Pfister goes 1 of 2 from the line that time. He had made 5 free throws in a row before missing that one. And Brinkley, finally with his first field goal, he's got 3 points for the Bulldogs. Pfister trying to bring the ball down court. So again, West County with a full court press, and it's caused quite a few problems for the Knights. Pfister coming down the lane, backs up, tries to put the shot up. If he wouldn't have gotten the traveling call, it would have fallen in. But instead, it'll be a turnover for the Knights. It'll be their first turnover of the second half. Just a minute 32 off the clock. Breyer with the ball, gets it into Brinkley. Brinkley mishandles it, goes all over the place. Connor Gage with the ball, tries to get it over to Ankrum. Instead, West County ends up with it, and you gotta be kidding me. Connor Gage with a clear block. Sagan makes his first free throw. And his second is up. It's no good. Rebounded by Ankrum. That'll be 9 rebounds on the night for Ankrum. In the quarter to Pinkley for 3. And it's good. Pinkley finally gets in the book with that 3-point shot. And that will be a key part of this second half, is finding a way to get the Knights with some open looks, especially from number 10, Mike Pinkley. Pinkley definitely considered the Knights' best shooter on the team. And just as I say that, the best shooter for West County gets an open look, ends up clanking it off the backside of the rim. So the Knights with an opportunity to make it a single possession game once again. Ankrum works in the post, misses it. Connor Gage with the putback. Gage gets in the books with that one. One possession difference, and we had talked before the game, and I had kind of felt like Farmington really had the keys to this game. I felt like they would win it by a good double-digit margin. And so far, the Knights have barely had the lead in this one. They've had it a couple of times, only a few lead changes so far. Not sure. Foul call might have been on number 2, Connor Gage, and they're showing on the scoreboard that that's actually his 4th foul already. Knights do have a couple of different guys on the bench. Bader being one of those, Tamir being the other that can kind of work in the post a little bit. But no doubt that we'll be missing the size that Connor Gage offers. And both of those fall in to extend it to 42-38. The Knights will have to get it back to single possession once again with this possession. Pfister with a look from three. He gets it to fall again. The Knights spreading their three-point shots around several different players, while West County's only been able to hit it with one. Brinkley with a rebound doesn't get the putback, and a couple of Knights fighting over the ball, and Ankrum instead ends up with the rebound. That'll be his 10th rebound. Give him the double-double already tonight. And with that, the Knights are going to take a quick 30-second timeout. The Knights will have an opportunity to take the lead when we come back from the break. We'll be right back in 30 seconds.
Oh, big wave.
That is everywhere, isn't it?
Okay.
Can you guys turn to each other and share?
Do you want to go get a Happy Meal?
This time it better not be a joke.
Who's excited about a Happy Meal?
And welcome back to Central High School, 42-41 the score. And the Knights will have an opportunity to take their first lead here in the second half. And as I was talking just a second ago, talking with my color commentator during the halftime about the fact that I still felt like the Knights could end up with a double-digit win. Ankrum getting his first points in the second half. They take it all the way the length of the court, and the putback's no good. The ball is loose. It's going all over the place. At some point, you're going to have to call the jump ball. Surprised they didn't give the timeout once again to West County. So it'll be Farmington Knights ball out of bounds. They've got the 1-point lead, and West County making several mistakes to start the second half. A clear mistake right now is they have not been able to do anything in the post. And part of that, you're going to have to get to the fact that Jordan Ankrum is back in the game for the Knights. Once again, he has 3 fouls, so he'll definitely have to be careful. That one tipped out to Pinkley. Pinkley gets it off the front of the rim. Would have been a huge shot right there to give the Knights a 4-point lead. That would have been their first double possession lead of the night. And the travel call will give the Knights an opportunity on the other side. And it looks like West County's number 4, LeBriers, doing a little bit of chattering around with Slick Rick, as everyone calls him here locally. One of the officials for tonight's game. Ankrum with an open look down low. Give it to him. Ankrum, an absolute beast. You're not going to convince anyone of anything differently. I don't care what school you're around from here locally. If you're going to even begin to question the quality of play that you're going to get from Jordan Ankrum, he will prove you wrong time and time again. Ankrum has been an absolute beast tonight. When you look at what he's done, he's got a total of now 17 points to go along with 10 rebounds. And if he has a monster second half, he's going to put his name right there with a possible tournament MVP. Of course, his only competition would be Dylan Coleman. He finished his first night with 28 points, 17 rebounds. And the second night, tonight, 35 points, 14 boards. So no doubt he is a force to be reckoned with as well. And a lot of people are hoping that we could see a Jordan Ankrum and Dylan Coleman matchup in the finals. Farmington with a 3-point lead. If they can find a way to get a turnover or a missed shot by the Bulldogs, they could have a chance to get their first 2-possession lead of the night. Baseline jumper, that falls through. A nice shot on the baseline there by number 21, Minor Sagan. Minor Sagan having himself a nice night as well. Pfister tries to get it off. LeBrier coming the length of the court. He gets the shot up. It's no good. Rebounded by Waddell. Down court to Pinkley. Pinkley looking across to Ankrum. Ankrum put it in! The and one. A big shot that time by Jordan Ankrum. give them 16 with the chance to make it 17.
You know, the Knights are one of those teams, as soon as they get ahead, they keep going. They're not one of those teams that's going to battle back and forth. They're going to get down, but when they get ahead, they're gone. That's exactly how it was against Perryville Saturday. That's exactly how it was. Perryville fought with them, and then they got ahead, and they just went on.
What we're seeing right now from the Knights is what we saw last year in this same tournament. It's so crazy right now how many times we're seeing a ton of similarities between this year's team and last year's team. And it's almost scary when you really look at it, how similar the two are to this point in the season. Bader gets the ball, somehow able to get it over to Pfister, and Pfister gets it to fall through.
You know, I can't tell you how many times last year I said the Knights are a second half team. They really almost try to find their groove in the first half and really come ahead in the second half.
Stroke the rabbit's foot. The Knights not doing anything wrong. Pinkley takes it the length of the court. Give it to him again. The Knights running away now. 7-point lead. 2:29 on the clock. We'll be right back here on Night Vision Media. And welcome back once again. I finally had a chance to cool down for just a second. Hopefully the Knights won't do the same though. Definitely a complete change of pace by the Knights. West County making several mistakes. They're not making their shots. 2:29 on the clock here in the third period. The Knights have an amazing 7-point lead. After you look at what happened in the first half to what's happening here in the third quarter, a completely different game being played by the Knights.
And like I said before, I mean, I can't stress how many times last year I said they were a second half team, and they're proving that right now this year. I mean, it's crazy how, like you said, similar they are.
A shot that time falls through. That was by number 21, Minor Sagan. Minor Sagan actually has 7 points. He's been the reason that the West County Bulldogs have been able to keep their way in this game here in the second half. Pinkley bringing the ball down, gets the pass over to Bader. Bader goes up with it. It's no good, but he is fouled. And I believe the foul might have been on Brinkley. That's actually 3 fouls by Brinkley, another one to watch as we go forward in this game. West County with a couple of players in foul trouble, and found out what was going on earlier with LeBrier. It sounds like him and Waddell were both kind of chatting back and forth a little bit. Bader misses the first one. He went 2 of 2 in the first half. He misses the first one here. Trying to give the Knights a 6-point, 2-possession lead, and he's able to do so. Scales will come into the game for Pfister. The Knights seniors doing a great job here in the second half. Ball goes into the corner to LeBrier. Brinkley bringing it down the post. Gets it swatted by Bader. A great block that time. Ankrum gets it over to Scales. Scales inside to Bader. It's swatted away, and I don't know how you don't call the foul on that one. Couldn't have been all over him any more than what he was. LeBrier takes it in, and he puts it in. And that's actually his first shot that's went in away from the three-point arc. Waddell bringing the ball down the court. Stutter steps, gets it over to Ankrum. He puts it in. Give another 2 to Ankrum. He's got 8 here in the third quarter. Mike Pinkley nearly finding a way to steal that one away. And Hargis will come in to spell Pinkley for a bit. Pinkley's been all over the place up and down the court this entire quarter, so we'll give him a little bit of a breather before heading into the fourth. 1:13 on the clock. County gets it to Brinkley, over to the side. 3-point shots, no good. And Waddell starts to take it, and it goes off the shoe of one of West County's players. Did I see that correctly, Sarah? Maybe I saw it incorrectly. I don't know. We'll have to go back to the cameras on that one, I guess. But I could have swore that it went off of one of West County's players. Either way, it ends up being a turnover by the Knights. LeBrier in the corner. Brinkley with the ball now. Brinkley turnaround jumper. It's no good. Clanks off the side of the backboard. Ankrum bringing it down court strong. Gets it over to Hargis. Hargis puts it up and in. So Hargis getting his name in the book. Once again, he was the second leading scorer for the Knights the other night against Perryville. He finished the night with 9.
And talking about Mike Pinkley and how he had to step up, Aaron Hargis is one of those players who really had to step up. He didn't see a whole lot of playing time last year. I mean, none of the juniors did, but him especially, and he's just really stepped up.
And Bader strong with a rebound that time, follows it up with a strong pick. The Knights doing a lot of things right here in the third quarter, and it's about to come to a close. The Knights will try to find a way to get the last shot. 10 seconds on the clock now. Waddell brings it around, gets it into Ankrum, and why not? Put Ankrum down for 10 points in the third quarter, and how ironic is it that the Knights will have a 10-point lead going into the fourth. Amazing third quarter by the Knights. They string together one of the best quarters you could ever imagine after the first half that we saw, and we'll see if they can continue that play into the fourth here on Night Vision Media.
Divorce has many fears. Losing a child doesn't have to be one of them.
Hi, I'm Jim Willis. I've been practicing law in the Farmington area since 1986. Divorce is a very difficult time. You don't have to go through it alone. Please give me the opportunity to help you.
Special sauce?
At an undisclosed McDonald's location, there is a club. Inside, the best of the best gather. And tonight, they welcome their newest member, Mr. LeBron James. And what does one serve the best basketball player in the world? The new Bacon Clubhouse sandwich, of course. 100% pure beef or chicken on a new artisan roll, all with our famous Big Mac special sauce. Because everyone deserves the best. There's something for everyone to love at McDonald's.
You should serve it to everyone.
And welcome back. The Knights up by 10, a huge third quarter. And, you know, we've talked about it. We even talked about it during this past commercial break that coming into the game, I predicted, once again, a possible 20-point win by the Knights. And the Knights finally putting things together that might get them to that point. Brinkley tries to put it up. It's no good, but the putback is good by Minor Sagan. He's been, once again, huge here in the second half. He's got 9 points for the Bulldogs. Down to Bader. Bader starts to take it himself. He'll put it in and instead gets the charge call. Or is the basket good? Okay, basket's good. I was really questioning it, and several of the Knights fans were too. All of us just kind of paused. We weren't sure exactly what the call might be. Slick Rick goes ahead and makes the call against West County. And that was against number 22, Barnett, and that was his 5th foul. So cancel him out. He had 4 points up to that point. So that's where he will finish the night. And Bader has a chance now to go 4 of 5 from the line with this shot. Instead, it comes off the backside of the rim. And instead, he'll go 3 of 5 from the line. He's got a total of 5 points on the night for the Knights. And one thing that we talked about is the Knights had subbed in some players, and Matt King kind of talked about it, that it might be a third, fourth quarter kind of thing where the Knights have a little bit more energy. We'll just have the edge and a clear foul. That time, no question about it, Minor Sagan completely does a roll over Aaron Hargis. That'll be his 2nd foul. And the Knights will sub back in a couple of their starters. Pfister gets it into Hargis. Hargis looks down, dribbles behind the back, doing a nice job bringing the ball down the court, and the foul once again on West County. And the fouls are coming in bunches now by the Bulldogs as they face the 10-point deficit of 60-50 right now. 6 fouls. The next foul will put the Knights at the line, and the Knights could find themselves in the double bonus for quite a bit of the second half if the fouls continue. Hargis with a look off the glass. Give him 4 points on the night. 6:52 on the clock. West County trying to fight back, and a clear block foul that time by Bader. Bader moves right into the way of number 21, Minor Sagan, as he brought the ball down. And they are calling it on the floor. Thank goodness. Minor Sagan thought that it might have been a shooting foul, but Slick Rick going ahead and making the call. 3 seconds, 4 seconds, nearly gets the 5-second call. LeBrier throws an elbow into the face of Hargis, and several people making some noise on that one. Brinkley clanks it off. A nice block that time. Give it to Hargis. Hargis looks, turns around, jumps, puts it off the top. Instead, puts it off the backboard, ends up being no good. Kind of question the shot selection there after he was able to get a couple of the Bulldogs to pull off the court. Brinkley with a jumper, it's no good. And Brinkley has had a horrible game tonight. After leading the West County Bulldogs past by Burnham, Brinkley has had trouble tonight. When you look at what he's done this evening, Clayton Brinkley's got 3 points after scoring 18 against Vi Burnham. No question that the Knights have been able to give quite a bit more in the post than what Vi Burnham was able to. The Knights swinging it around. They're going to hold on to the ball a little bit more, especially with that 12-point lead. They'll eventually look for the open shot, especially if it's wide open by Pinkley. Give him the 3. So after not scoring in the first, he's got 8 points here in the second. The Knights with a 15-point lead. Open shot opportunity by West County. They get it to full. And once again, it is Minor Sagan that has kept them in this game. Without Minor Sagan, it would have been some trouble for the West County Bulldogs. He's got a total of 12 points here in the second half. So you look to that, without him, they'd be at 41. So definitely no doubt that he's been the one to keep them in it, but it's a 12-point difference still. Knights still being able to manage to add on to their lead a little bit so far here in the fourth quarter. They've done a good job of protecting the ball a little bit more, not playing quite so loose and fast with it. And they are nowhere near their turnover numbers from the first half. Sarah, if these next 2 nights, if the Farmington Knights are able to get through Central tomorrow, if these next 2 nights are anything like this first night, I might need another 2-week break before being able to come back to school.
Well, I don't know. If we get past Central, it looks like we're going to play Potosi in the championship game. I don't think the Knights can afford to play how they did tonight. I mean, they're playing an extraordinary second half, but that first half cannot happen against Potosi. They are just a solid team. That is not a team that we can afford to mess around, be a little sloppy with. That's just not going to work out if we do make it to face Potosi.
I think against Potosi, you might get away with some of those just because their guard play is similar in what you're seeing with West County. But I think if you look to Central's by far got some of the best guards here in the area. They've got experience. I really think that the hardest game for the Knights could be in their semifinal game if they're able to go ahead and pull out the win tonight against West County. 5:37 on the clock, 12-point difference still. Bulldogs in transition, gets the ball out to Brinkley. Brinkley out to LeBrier. LeBrier calling for the pick, does a nice job. Brinkley brings it down and finally gets one to fall. Give him 5 points on the night.
I don't know, talking about a possible championship game against Potosi, I'm personally super excited to see Ankrum versus Dylan Coleman. I mean, last year that was exciting, but this year Dylan Coleman's, had 49 points on the night sometimes, and it's just been insane how well and how talked about he is and how well talked about Ankrum is and how he was All-State last year.
Bader with a strong rebound ends up getting called for the traveling.
I don't know, but I'm interested to see that matchup. That's definitely going to be an exciting show for everybody to see.
Open look on the side for Minor Sagan. Give him the 3. They're able to close it down to a 7-point difference now. Don't count West County out just yet. Minor Sagan having a huge second half for the Bulldogs. Hinckley gets it over to Pfister. Pfister looking down in the post, trying to find a way to get it over to Waddell or Bader. Waddell out to Ankrum. Ankrum on top to Pfister. Once again, the Knights doing a pretty good job of protecting the ball, making smart passes here in the second half. They're finding a way to get time off the clock. Brinkley with a pretty obvious foul. Poked him right in the face that time around. Hinckley working the ball around, gets it over to Pfister, and once again, the Knights doing a great job of taking time off the clock. Exactly what the Knights were trying to do, and the foul ends up being called on Brinkley, and that'll be his fourth.
You know, the one little thing I have heard about West County is how well their, Clayton Brinkley is, like you were saying earlier, but this game he's had, 2 travel calls, 4 fouls, or how many fouls already?
He's got 4 so far, and he's only got 5 points on the game. So
there's
several things that you can look to Brinkley, and no doubt West County's got to be disappointed by his play this evening. Bader puts his first in. That makes him a total of 4 for 6 at the line, so doing a nice job at the line so far. And really, when you look at it across the roster for the Knights, all of the Knights have done a pretty good job from the free throw line, and give them another. Bader extends it back out to 9-point difference. And the man that's done all the damage, Minor Sagan. And just as I say that, Minor Sagan gets it over. There's a pump fake, and I'm not too sure the reason for it. There wasn't a guy within probably a good 5-6 feet of him. Decided not to take the shot, tried to dribble forward, and traveled in the process. So a turnover by West County gives the Knights an opportunity to extend back to a double-digit lead. Waddell moving the ball back and forth very well. Gets the pass over to Bader. Bader takes it in and ends up getting called for the travel. Brinkley coming back into the game for the Bulldogs. Once again, 4 fouls for him. West County's already had 1 foul out. And number 22, the starter, Josh Barnett. Barnett was the only starter that didn't finish with 14 points or more in their game the other night against Viburnum. Brinkley finds a way to work at that time. A nice job by Brinkley working the post against Bader. So he'll have a chance to cut it back down to 6 for the Bulldogs. So we talked about him just a second ago, and he finds a way to capitalize on that post move and follows it with the free throw. So make it a 6-point difference once again. And the Knights are going to call a timeout. So we'll be right back here in just a second on Night Vision Media.
We're always looking for better ways to do things. But with some banks, better for them isn't always better for you.
You've reached Megabank. Press 1 to hear your current balance. Press 2 to hear these options again.
Introducing free Kasasa checking. When you do stuff for us, like swipe your debit card or get e-statements, we make it even better for you with cash back and refunds on ATM fees. Kasasa, carried locally at Belgrade State Bank. Do you, Kasasa?
Welcome back to Central High School. The Knights trying to find a way to fend off the Bulldogs as they came back into this one here in the fourth quarter, a 6-point difference after the Knights led by 10 to start the quarter. Out on the court for the Knights will be their starters minus Connor Gage, who has 4 fouls tonight. He's had a rough game overall, and you could tell how much frustration is built up inside of him the last time that he was pulled off the court once he got his 4th foul.
I don't know if I agree on all of those fouls that were called on Connor Gage. I agree on about 2 of them, but some of the calls the refs have made have really made a difference.
And a possible costly turnover by the Knights as the Bulldogs will have a chance to possibly pull it back to a single possession game again with a 3. And the 5-second call is made. None of the Bulldogs finding a way to get open. So it'll be turned right back over to the Knights. Pfister starts the play, throws it down court to Pinkley. Pinkley goes down the lane, tries to put it up, and he finds a way to get it to fall. And he has 10 points here in the second half. I think if you want to look to anything that the Knights have done well here in the second half, it's not going to be on the defensive side of the ball necessarily. They've found a way to shut down LeBrier, but the Bulldogs have enough that, they'll have another player come in and hurt you. Minor Sagan's done just that. Bader tries to go up with it. Instead, it'll be a foul. A nice job by Ankrum there to find Bader with that open look. So Bader will go to the line after making 2 of 2 on his last trip. Really, the thing that the Knights have done right here in the second half has been on the offensive side of the ball. They've found a way to get the open shots. They've spread it. They're scoring out a whole lot more here in the second half than they even got close to in the first half. Only 4 scoring in the first half, and so far the Knights have had 6 players score here in the second. So spreading it around a little bit more has definitely had the Knights building that lead, and now they're back out to 8 points. And a possible chance if they can find a way to get some strong defense here, or a miss by LeBrier. Instead, he gets it to fall. That'll be his first 3 of the second half after making 5 in the first. Pfister bringing the ball down, gets it over to Bader. And it's now a 5-point game with that shot by LeBrier. 2:30 on the clock. Pfister gets it over to Bader. Bader to Ankrum. The Knights trying to find a way to get some time off the clock again. As you can see, the Knights doing a great job of milking the clock. 2:06 now. With the lead that the Knights have, you don't want to make any mistakes, and a couple of possible foul calls there, but nothing ends up being called. And the Knights doing a great job, making 1:50 on the clock now. They continue to milk time off. Brinkley giving him space, and the coach for West County about ready to go irate, and finally a foul. And the foul is going to be on number 21. It's the leading scorer of the second half for the Bulldogs, number 21, Jacob Minor Sagan. That's only his 3rd, so Minor Sagan's got a couple fouls to waste here with 1:43 on the clock. It'll be Mike Pinkley at the line. It's actually his first trip to the line this evening. Pinkley so far 10 points here in the second half. His first shot is up, bounces off the rim, and doesn't find a way to fall. So the Knights unsuccessful with that trip on the floor. LeBrier with a 3-point look. It's no good. Rebounded by the Knights. Pfister throws it down, nearly turns the ball over, and he does. LeBrier will have the ball. Starts to dribble down, gets it off the glass, and makes it fall. LeBrier now with 7 points, a 3-point difference. West County staying close. Waddell bringing it down strong, gets it out to Ankrum. Ankrum across to Pfister. 3-point difference. And now it'll be the foul on number 21, Minor Sagan once again. So if we could get either one of the 2 players to foul out for West County, it looks like that could open up our opportunities. So Minor Sagan with 4. Not sure exactly how many LeBrier has, but I expect that we'll find out pretty soon exactly how many fouls he has. Pfister's first is up and doesn't find a way to get it to fall through. So free throws now being costly for the Knights here at the end as they've missed their past 2. Pfister puts up the next, and he gets it to fall. 54 seconds on the clock. Knights with a 4-point lead. Look inside. Gets the ball around. LeBrier with an open look from 3. A hand in his face there at the very end. Gets the rebound and the putback. It'll be a 2-point difference. And that was 45's first points of the game. He has been unable to put a bucket through all night. I believe that might be number 42 in the programs, Stephen Barlow, that was able to put that one in. So a high-scoring affair between the two teams, no doubt, 72-70. And when you look across the tournament, this is undoubtedly going to be the most points combined between two teams. The second closest to that would have been the Potosi game earlier this evening, 72-66 between Potosi and San Genevieve. But really across the night, all of the games have been pretty close. South Iron and AV battled real closely. Central had a pretty sizable lead against Hillsborough, and several predicted that that could be the one game. It ended up in a pretty easy fashion, and it began to look that way at the end of the third quarter, but instead the West County Bulldogs have found a way here in the fourth quarter to do everything right. They've gotten LeBrier to score a couple of times. Minor Sagan has continued scoring as well, and they've really just done a good job on several parts of the court to climb back in this one and make it a 2-point deficit with 40 seconds on the clock. Ankrum to inbound it for the Knights. Gets it to Pinkley. Pinkley bringing it down, gets it over to Ankrum. Ankrum will bring it across the half-court line. Tries to throw the ball down. Ankrum ends up with it. Takes it down. He puts it off the glass and in! Who else but Jordan Ankrum? And the foul will be called on number 22, Grant Waddell, saying a push foul. It'll be his first on the night. And luckily for the Knights, that is only the 16th foul, so they will be out of bounds. 20 seconds on the clock. And LeBrier will be out on the court now for the Bulldogs. So you expect a 3-point play set up here for LeBrier. LeBrier's out there. Instead, Minor Sagan goes in, and he'll go to the line for a couple. Foul's called on number 25, Jordan Ankrum. And we've got to cross our fingers and hope that this one doesn't go into overtime, because Ankrum will now have 4 fouls. So the two big men for the Knights, Connor Gage and Jordan Ankrum, both with 4 fouls each. Minor Sagan's first falls through. Minor Sagan perfect from the line this evening. He's got a chance to cut it back down to a 2-point difference. Once again, the Knights in the double bonus, so they'll at least be able to take 2 shots no matter what from the line. Minor Sagan's second is up. It's no good. Rebounded by the Knights. Waddell has it. Waddell trying to bring it down. It'll be a quick foul by LeBrier. So as I said, we're going to find out real quick exactly how many fouls LeBrier has. And that is only his first. So the Bulldogs have had some stellar play by LeBrier tonight on both sides of the floor. Second half, he hasn't been quite as successful as the first. He's got 7 points here in the second after 15 in the first, to give him 22 overall tonight. Waddell at the line. This is his first trip. The first one does not fall. Ankrum with 25 points this evening, 25. And now the Knights will call a timeout. So we'll be right back here in just a second on Night Vision Media.
With everything always improving, why is our banking falling behind? With monthly service fees and ATMs that take your money right back. Introducing Kasasa. Free hard-working accounts. You'll earn when you bank and earn when you swipe. And get those ATM fees back in your pocket. Free checking with rewards. Carried locally at Belgrade State Bank. Do you Kasasa?
And welcome back as the West County Bulldogs come back out onto the court. They found a way to scratch and claw their way back into this one, outscoring the Knights by 7 so far here in the fourth quarter. After it appeared that the Knights might have it in hand to begin the fourth. 13.9 on the clock, though. Grant Waddell trying to find a way to extend this back out to a 2-possession lead. And this one won't be the one to seal the deal, but it could be pretty close. And Waddell puts it through, so make it a 4-point difference. And West County will have to be fast, and they'll have to find a way to get an open look. And LeBrier gets it with a pick set. It's up, it's no good, it's tipped around. Bader ends up with the rebound. He'll go to the line. He's made 4 in a row. Let's see if he can make it a couple more. The Knights might seal the deal right here. 5 seconds on the clock. It might be sealed already. And that was Minor Sagan's 5th, so that will help the Knights' chances even more as the Knights can really key in on number 4, LeBriers, being the only guy to shoot a 3 and even give West County a remote chance at finding a way to possibly tie it up. Right now they've got the 4-point difference. Bader's first is up and no good. Baders haven't had a good night from the line. As I said, he had made his previous 4 before that shot. His second is up and gets it to fall. And several people heading for the exit. They stayed for most of this game. That one's up, it's no good, and the Knights find a way to survive another night. A much closer game in the fourth than what we expected coming out in the third. But at the end of the night, once again, the Knights find a way to get the job done. So we'll be right back here in 2 minutes on Night Vision Media.
America loves a fish fry. And in the Corktown part of Detroit, there's a place called Nancy Whiskey's that's famous for one. Nothing fancy, just a tasty good time. But you don't have to go to Nancy's for fish that taste that special. Just come on over to Long John Silver's. Rediscover the taste you love. Long John Silver's, we're America's fish fry.
Oh, big wave.
That is everywhere, isn't it? Okay. Can you guys turn to each other and share?
Do you want to go get a Happy Meal?
This time it better not be a joke.
Who's excited about a Happy Meal?
Divorce has many fears. Losing a child doesn't have to be one of them.
Hi, I'm Jim Willis. I've been practicing law in the Farmington area since 1986. Divorce is a very difficult time. You don't have to go through it alone. Please give me the opportunity to help you.
And once again, as you can see there on the board, the Knights find a way to close this one out, 76-71. And part of the big second half, undoubtedly, was the guy that you heard from before tonight's game, and now you're going to get to hear from him after the game. It was Mike Pinkley. He finished with a total of 10 points here in the second half. And Mike, what did you feel like was different for you in the second half versus the first?
I feel like they were just leaving me open more often. I was getting more open shots, and my teammates were getting me the ball, and I wasn't afraid to let it fly after that air ball in the first quarter.
What is it that was really said when you guys went into the locker room? What did you guys come out of the locker room with a plan of?
Well, in the locker room, Coach was talking about all of our mistakes, and then he said, through all that, we're only down 5. And that really got us, pumped up and ready to go. So we came out there, we wanted to run the ball and just hit our shots, and that's exactly what we did.
And that's exactly what I actually talked to Sarah about coming out of that. We undoubtedly, 9 turnovers just there in the first half after only having like 6 against Perryville. So undoubtedly that was one thing that we had to clean up, and we were able to do just that coming into that third quarter. And really, you guys made a terrific run there. It was definitely nice to see that. Ankrum tonight finishing with 25 points and 13 rebounds. Strong as always, as he is here in the Central Christmas Tournament. So it'll be between him and Coleman as we go along here. Now we're actually going to get a quick opportunity to talk to the Knights point guard, Grant Waddell. He had a couple of big threes there in the first half, and then he followed that up with a free throw in the second. So Grant, this is your first time getting to play in a real competitive game here at the Central Christmas Tournament. Probably one of the bigger crowds you've ever played in front of.
Yeah, it was pretty awesome. It was a little bit nerve-wracking. I missed that first free throw down the stretch, and wish I could have took that back, but Coach yelled at me, told me get my head up because I'm making this next one. He was right, and then we were able to pull out the W.
So one thing that I did notice during the first quarter is I saw after you kind of wrestled with the ball for a second right about the free throw line, saw you kind of take it slow for a second after that, and we didn't see a whole lot for the rest of that first half. Was there something that I know that you've had some issues with your hip a little bit, your groin. Was there anything that was kind of going on there a little bit, or?
No, my groin's feeling a lot better, but he kind of landed on my knee, and I've been having knee issues, and kind of tweaked it a little bit. Coach decided to play it safe, put Alex in. Alex can get the job done too, and I was able to get back out there. So.
Well, I guess the big question is then heading into tomorrow night, where you're probably playing against some of the strongest guards in the area. How do you feel? How's the knee feeling as far as looking to tomorrow night?
Feels good. I'm going to go home, stretch, ice it. I'll be ready to go tomorrow.
Sounds good. So have you guys really talked about Central much? I know, of course, you got to see them a little bit before your game this evening. Has there been really any talk amongst the team when it comes to Central at all? Or?
No, there's not been much talk about Central. We've been trying to take this one game at a time. I bet we've been going in early before each game, taking shots, going over, walking through, and I bet we'll talk a lot about them because, like you said, they have some of the best guards around, and we can't take them lightly. They're a good team, and we need to come out ready to play tomorrow. We didn't come out ready to play at first. That's why we were down, and we were able to come back and pull this one out.
That was a pretty sweet one there at the end. We talked about it beforehand. We felt like the Knights had a good opportunity to possibly finish this one in double digits. At least I did. Some people questioned that, but after the third quarter, questions kind of disappeared, but crawled right back in there towards the end of the fourth. But as you said, the Knights find a way to close this one out. And once again, we'll be right back. We were joined with Mike Pinkley and Grant Waddell of the Knights, two of the strong guards. And between the two of them, chiming in with a total of 17 points. But we'll be right back again here on Night Vision Media.
Special sauce?
At an undisclosed McDonald's location, there is a club. Inside, the best of the best gather. And tonight, they welcome their newest member, Mr. LeBron James. And what does one serve the best basketball player in the world? The new Bacon Clubhouse sandwich, of course. 100% pure beef or chicken on a new artisan roll, all with our famous Big Mac special sauce. Because everyone deserves the best. There's something for everyone to love at McDonald's.
You should serve it to everyone.
We're always looking for better ways to do things. But with some banks, better for them isn't always better for you.
You've reached Megabank. Press 1 to hear your current balance. Press 2 to hear these options again.
Introducing free Kasasa checking. When you do stuff for us, like swipe your debit card or get e-statements, we make it even better for you with cash back and refunds on ATM fees. Kasasa, carried locally at Belgrade State Bank. Do you, Kasasa?
And welcome back here to Night Vision Media. Crazy one tonight, as you heard just a second ago from Mike Pinkley and Grant Waddell. We'll definitely have our hands full tomorrow night. Make sure that you tune in to Night Vision here on YouTube. We'll be live from the TJ Foulon Fieldhouse at 7:30 tomorrow evening for Central Farmington basketball. Hopefully we could see the same kind of end result, but as we've talked about between the two players, between Jordan Ankrum and Dylan Coleman, Ankrum finishes tonight 25-13, so that will give him a total of 57 points and 31 rebounds for the tournament so far. When you look to Dylan Coleman, Coleman's got the slight edge so far. Coleman finishing with 28 in the first and 35 in the second and 14 and 17 on the board. So Coleman's actually got the same number from the rebounds perspective, but if you look over to the points, he's got the slight edge. He's got a 6-point difference between the two, so it'll be interesting to see if we can get to the point where we could see those two go head-to-head, but Central will be the team that will be standing in Farmington's way. Central beating Hillsborough earlier tonight by the score of 61-46. They will come into tomorrow night's matchup 7-1. Scott Richardson leading them with 17 points, 8 rebounds, and Colin Best with 10 points. So a couple of those post guys are the two guys that we hope to control a little bit more. It'll be more on the guards than anything that will be the difference tomorrow night. Looking across the night, we already said that Grant Waddell had 7, Pinkley had 10, but the big surprise tonight, Jordan Pfister finishing with probably his highest point total of the season so far. He had 18 points. Vader finished with 10 and 8 rebounds. Gage chiming in with 2 and Hargis with 4. On the other side of the court, the West County Bulldogs were led by LeBrier's 23 points. Minor Sagan followed with 22. And when you look to the threes, that was the impressive part for West County. LeBrier finishing with 6 3-point shots, and then Minor Sagan following with 3 of his own. So those were the 9 threes by the West County Bulldogs. On the other side of the court for the Knights had 2 from Pinkley. They also had 2 from Pfister and 2 from Waddell. So when you look at it for the Knights, Ankrum had 1 as well, so they end up finishing with a total of 7, so it's 7-9 from 3. So we talked about it coming into the game that West County's guards were something to kind of watch out for, and they ended up making a pretty big difference there in the first half, forcing several turnovers by the Knights. And no doubt about it that Central will try to do the same tomorrow evening. Once again, we'll be here live at 7:30, Central Rebels versus the Farmington Knights here on Night Vision Media. I've been Aaron Murray tonight alongside Sarah LaChance. See you tomorrow night.
With everything always improving, why is our banking falling behind? With monthly service fees and ATMs that take your money right back. Introducing Kasasa. Free hard-working accounts. You'll earn when you bank and earn when you swipe. And get those ATM fees back in your pocket. Free checking with rewards. Carried locally at Belgrade State Bank. Do you Kasasa?
America loves a fish fry. And in the Corktown part of Detroit, there's a place called Nancy Whiskey's that's famous for one. Nothing fancy, just a tasty good time. But you don't have to go to Nancy's for fish that taste that special. Just come on over to Long John Silver's. Rediscover the taste you love. Long John Silver's, we're America's fish fry.